and everything come up before I die. Because I know when I'm gonna die, and if you sell to everybody this time, nothing. Yeah.
Grandmaster Navigator Pius Malpialug from the tiny island of Sarawal in the Caroline Islands of Micronesia. First came to Hawaii in the mid 1970s. Bucking tradition and breaking taboos of his homeland, he brought back to the Hawaiian people the ancient and lost art of wayfinding, non instrumental navigation, bringing life back to a culture that was dying. A simple islander who crossed an ocean and changed the world. In 2001, Mao comes to Hawaii for three reasons: to visit with Shorty and Clay Bertelman, navigator and captain of the Makali'i, to talk about the canoe Clay intends to build for Mao to bring home to Micronesia as a learning tool, and most importantly, to receive a long overdue public tribute from the Hawaiian Voyagers, 25 years after Mao's first voyage on Hokulea.
To you, brother and sister,
Then the main reason for his trip emerges. Mao writes a speech for his tribute that he hopes is a call for unity to bring the separate Hawaiian canoe families on different islands back together as one. Only by working together will the Hawaiian voyagers preserve the culture and navigational skills taught to him by his grandfather on Sarawal. Mao's two passions, the building of a canoe for Micronesia and the Hawaiian canoe families coming together to work as one, are of equal and urgent importance to him, because ironically, the ancient culture he brought back to Hawaii is fading away in his homeland.
This is a stock compass. This stock compass was put in here to teach the kids from Hawaii. All we are learning was through him. We were asked to do this canoe traditionally. Mao was available to come up and give us a hand. Actually to do the whole thing. It was his design and his expertise that put this together. You know, and us as a student learning how to do.
Mao and Clay return Maulua to Honaunau, where the canoe was built, and there they visit Mao's good friend Tava, a veteran of many voyages on the Hokulea. Tava, a Pacific Islander from the Marquesas, is like Mao, a man who is raised under the culture of the canoe.
Him is like my dad and a canoe, because that's how we talking. The Voyager canoe is a part of the culture many, many years, the navigator. The navigator, as we say, he's the daddy of the canoe. He's the father of the canoe.
Yep.
The navigator. So that's how we work for him. What he say, you better do.
Now in Hilo, it is time for the Hawaiian voyagers to say to the Grand Master Navigator, Mahalo. On this day, crew members from many past voyages will travel to the Big Island from Maui, Molokai, Kauai, and Oahu to pay honor to their teacher. The Makali'i will circle Hilo Bay until it is time to sail Mao back to shore. It is the opening honor to this day of tributes for the Master Navigator. Among those attending are Paige Barber from Waianae, Snake Ahi from Maui, Bert Barber from Waianae, and Nainoa Thompson, Mao's student and navigator of the Hokulea from Honolulu. Mao is greeted first by the Royal Order of Kamehameha.
Miha kalani miha kahonua. Oho kau kapua kaho kau kapu. Aohe avihi ki o kamaka. Hamau kaleo, hamau kako.
E ho'okupu te mau pialuka. For my Royal Order of Kamehameha.
Ai! Ho'opule kai kai o ulau!
This morning I have the honor of really reading a speech that Mao put together with the help of Max Yoharamai. And Max basically translated the things that Papa has wanted to say to all of us today. To all my family, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming together today. I'm really happy for this gathering that you've made for all of us. Don't forget that at the beginning of our voyages, we did them as one. All these voyages, starting from the first one to all those voyages yet to come, are not only for Micronesians, Polynesians, Melanesians, but for the good of all people. My sun is setting now. And when my sun has set, I wish for all of you to continue our voyages as one. When I was young, I learned navigation from my grandfather. Navigation in 1976 was not openly shared. But when I came to Hawaii to take the first voyage on Hokulea to Tahiti, I saw that if I hold this knowledge to myself, the knowledge would be lost. So this is why I wish that we move forward as one people. That you, my brothers, sisters, and children, this is what is in my heart. And it's you that we will see in the rising sun. Shorty Brodelman, Nainoa Thompson, and my son, Cesario. You are my first students. You are the ones that are in the sunrise. To you three, remember that you have many students now. And that is why you must follow what I have said and work together. Again, I will tell you three that it is stronger to work together than to go your separate ways. These are the words of Miss BLM.
Island of Kauai, crew of the new Waka, Namahoe, And as students of yours from the past, we honor you today as we have honored you for a pretty long time.
First of all, I want to thank all those who allowed me both the opportunity and the privilege to even be here today, and the fact that I have the privilege to sit and honor this man that, when I think about a single individual, without him, there would be no canoes. There'd be no navigators. There would be no sailors. And there'd be less of a chance of our children to grow up in a world where their culture and their traditions and their heritage are held as a priority. Because when I grew up, Hawaiian values weren't valued, and only Western values were. And because of that, I grew up angry. Mao's message is simple: just be family. That simple reminder tells us that, at least for Cesario and Shorty and myself, we have clear direction and obligation to bring this family together. So I'm greatly appreciative of the message. And to Mao, again, thank you so much for the kindness and your vision and your caring for all of us.
I think we all have a lot to be grateful for Mao. Not just Cruz, but the whole of the triangle, I believe. If it wasn't for him and for Hokule, a lot of our peoples would not have found their way. Mao taught us to look at the stars, and if you do that, your head is held high automatically. It's hard to really express totally how grateful we are to Mao, because he's woken a lot. And me, all of us, our people, we have truly become an ocean nation again, I believe, in all aspects of our culture. I think he woke us up. Blair woke us up, Mao woke us up. Now our language is spoken. Ali are coming to the forefront. Our songs make sense. Our hula is more than just a performance. We are real people, made real by one man's ability to show us the way. Mahalo, Mao.
Hey, don't worry about it. You're wearing shades.
Clay Bertelman from the Big Islands Na Kalaiva'a and Nainoa Thompson from Oahu's Polynesian Voyaging Society find a quiet moment to talk.
Yeah,
A unique gathering with crew members from many past voyages follows. Mao accepts their invitations to visit them on their islands, delaying his return trip to Micronesia. On Oahu, with his tribute behind him, it's time for Mao to party and boogie down.
At the time we make the ceremony of me, after that somebody told me, why you gonna make your speeches make me cry? No, I'm not make you cry, but that's the one I think I want to say when you guys come together.
Yes.
Because me, I almost die already.
Make people cry when you say your sun's setting. That's why Penny.
Yeah,
say,
that's why Penny.
You're not going to have your sun set now, yeah? Not now.
Not really.
Yeah. So we all don't want your sun set now.
The tribute has come, his speech has been made, and the main reasons for Mao's trip to Hawaii have successfully concluded. Now Mao will focus all his attention on the canoe Clay has promised to build for Micronesia. It is time for Mao to leave the Big Island and return home to Sarawak, yet he intends to return to Hawaii within a year.
Next year they build my canoe, then I come make more strong. But us, for the project.
Mao leaves Hawaii with his fears for Micronesia weighing on his mind.
I'm scared because when I die, something happened after, like you guys move from Micronesia back to your home. What they do after? Nothing. Because they follow you guys. Nobody learn about build a house. Nobody learn build a canoe. Because they follow you guys. Then when you guys move from them, what they do?
When you become a navigator, it is really true that you are the father for the island.
But in Micronesia, before you can be called a navigator, a palu, you first have to be initiated in a ceremony called the po.
Po is a local way of almost like a graduation.
Only people that are finishing the po ceremony are called navigators.
It tells the people that you're separated from some other people, that you come to this group of masters of navigators.
In June of 2002, as Kenneth Omo was to be ordained a Catholic priest, it was decided by the Planning Committee on Sarawak to include an abbreviated version of the po ceremony, a ceremony once thrown away by the church.
Decision was made by the people here. They said, why not make it as a local one? So that's why we include the po with the ceremony.
So the church is loosening up, because I heard at one point they said
yes.
No more local ceremony.
Yes. It's for me, I'm surprised also, because it is a complete turnaround for us here.
The planning committee, when they were deciding who should do the po ceremony during this ordination, they actually came up with a number of names, some of the navigators. No doubt Mao is world-renowned, and so it was only fitting and appropriate that he be involved in the po ceremony as someone who's done it. So in the end, although last minute, but Pialuk still rise up to the challenge and accepted it.
Why? Crazy. Yeah, because why they do that? But Kenneth he go through the father. They make him for father, right? How come they put the po? But po is that the church say no good.
Why do you think they do the navigation ceremony for a priest?
I don't know.
These church people, they're telling us, don't throw away your local ways of living. You better try to revive them.
Canoe plays a significant part in the life of the people here. You see the altar in the church. There's a canoe, small canoe in there, part of the altar itself, as a constant reminder that the church is our canoe to heaven. So it is very symbolic, and it's something that the people identify with. The people who lead or who sail the canoe are navigators. So it's logical that the poe ceremony has to be done to Kenneth, because then he was ordained a priest, so now he's becoming the navigator of the church, the canoe church.
Now we're happy that we know from inside the church to outside of the church is the same.
Everybody follow the way of the church. The people, the time for church come, I think they crazy. They don't understand what missionaries say, and then they follow that.
It is a historic event, and one that has brought a big number of people to Sarawak, a number that this island has never experienced.
The most people that we ever received. It's a big historical time in the history of Sarawak.
Yeah, kitchen everywhere. It was an extraordinary event for the people here. They went out of their way to take care of the guests, to accommodate everybody that came. It was our first time for many of us to actually see the poe ceremony.
We're preparing turtle for our guests.
When was the last poe ceremony on Sarawak?
Oh, that was... Now I'm 40-some years old, and when I was about 5 or 6 years old, that thing already stopped.
The last poe ceremony on Sarawak was 50 years earlier, in 1952 in this canoe house. It was Mao's poe.
When you had your poe, because of the church, many people didn't want to come?
Yeah. You know why? The time they make me poor. Then the time for first Christian come. Then the time for everybody follow the church.
Did not many people come?
No, maybe 10 or 20.
A few days later is another rehearsal day. But on this day, one thing is missing. Mao. The chiefs decide another navigator will conduct the poe, and Mao is told he is not needed. But it becomes clear they cannot do without Mao, and they're forced to ask Mao to return to conduct the poe. Mao, who is against the abbreviated poe in the first place, does the graceful thing and agrees. The morning of the ordination, then, and Sarawak is buzzing. Twice the normal population is on the tiny island, and everyone on Sarawak is excited and eagerly anticipating the poe and the celebration. Everyone except Mao.
So them about this, about that. Cuba. Vice President? I don't like that because, see, now they say, we, in the world nation, we do the poe ceremony. Why they do that? Nobody make before ordination. Nobody make that because they like holy way or holy culture. Why they do that?
not okay. Please. And then nobody knows about the culture, our culture. Okay?
That's why they ask you to do the post ceremony.
Right. Because nobody knows.
After you, no one will know.
Nothing.
Are there many other ceremonies like the Po that are gone now once the church came?
Plenty. More than 50, more than 60. That's why I don't like the church. Because when the church comes, Christian come, then everything gone. Because the missionary say everything no good. That's why the people in Mackenzie, they follow that. Yes, no good. Why are we going to follow the custom from outside? Why? We throw away our custom.
Do you think this would be the last post ceremony on Sarawak?
Which one?
Today?
No. That one is not poor. Like they try. They try or they saw everybody, but not really. I know the time missionary come then he said, you guys throw away this one. Throw away medicine, throw away magic, but too late when they like pick them up again. No can because everybody, they know that they pass away already. That's why we lost.
What magic did they tell you to throw away?
Everything. Magic for good, magic for what? For bad. But he said everything, nobody used that. Like medicine.
Does anybody know local medicine anymore?
Before?
Now?
No. Because a long time ago they threw away.
Some old medicine, do you remember?
Oh, I know. But I know like give somebody. They don't want to use. They say no good. They follow the missionary. That's all.
You remember the old magic too?
Huh?
You remember the old magic?
Some? Because I forget some, because long time I never do that. Same in Hawaii before. When the Howley come, they say throw away everything. See now is what? They want bring back the culture, but the medicine nothing, the magic nothing, everything. Only the talk they bring back. Everything lost. Same like here. You know me in here. Really, they don't like I'm teaching about the culture.
Why?
Why? They like Hollywood.
So one day, in the future, there'll be a few people here who wish they could bring the culture back and they won't know how.
Nothing. But remember when I say, after me, everything go.
One, two, three.
Sitting in the east, that's Mr. P. one of our great well-known navigators from Satawan. Sometimes people call him by his nickname, Mao, meaning hard fact.
The pole ceremony, actually hours in length, is performed in an abbreviated 20 minutes. Mao begins by using the coconut leaf to apply magic for divine protection against any evil spirits watching or any navigators in the crowd, using black magic against those undergoing the pole. The same spirits and magic once cast out by the church. Mao must apply the magic to himself as well, including the cleansing ritual on the chest for good deeds and righteousness. Next, Mao stirs a medicinal herb mixed with coconut juice with the feather of the navigation bird, which, according to Micronesian legend, was actually an evil spirit tricked into giving its knowledge of navigation to a girl on the island of Pula. Drinking this also wards off evil forces. The tying of the right wrist signifies recognition and acceptance into the elite group of navigators. And tying a coconut leaf to the right wrist is symbolic of right decisions expected from the newly initiated person. The lava-lavas cover a bowl of pounded breadfruit and sweet taro to be eaten by the newly initiated navigator at the end of the ceremony. As Mao removes each lava-lava, he recites the waypoints for islands and other navigational references from east to west and north to south from Sarawak. This part of the pole ceremony normally takes a considerable time.
I think the ordination and the post ceremony came out pretty well, especially with how different features or elements of the post ceremony were specifically picked so that they were carried out and at least they have significance with the ordination.
The post ceremony we make for ordination, not really. We don't make imu, not enough lava, not enough food in a big pot.
The people on his island are sincere in their desire to reclaim what they can of their culture. But for Mao, time is running out. He is too old and knows he won't be around for any attempt at cultural revival. During his lifetime, he has seen the culture he knew as a boy completely replaced by Western influence. And despite any attempts now, only he knows the extent of the vast stores of irreplaceable knowledge that has been lost. And lost forever. When he was still active and vital and ready to teach, and the people of his island weren't interested in the old ways, Mao came to Hawaii and shared his knowledge with those eager to learn. And it was there, instead of in his homeland, where Mao was in the center of a cultural renaissance. Which is why, when he saw a need for a canoe to be built for Micronesia, he reached out to Clay Bertelman in Hawaii. But, as always, life is filled with the unexpected. In January 2004, after a protracted illness and a brave 6-month hospital stay, Clay Bertelman passes away. The Makali'i loses its captain and father, and the Hawaiian voyaging community loses a great chief. But as Clay lies in Waimea Hospital, he has left behind the hulls to Mao's canoe, and Mao has returned to Hawaii to see the hulls and to visit Clay, not realizing it will be for the last time.
How you like the way your canoe looks?
Oh, and when I look my canoes, I am happy. Better than mine before.
In the brief year and a half since the pole ceremony, Mao is noticeably older and significantly frailer. For Mao, the clock is also ticking.
So this is your new canoe?
Yeah. That's new canoe. But the next time, when you go back to Mingnan, then I come with Sori and Clay. We talking about my canoe when they start build the canoe. That's why I feel sorry about him, Clay, because I know him is he's strong for make everything plan about me, about him.
You know, 2004 is the Pacific Arts Festival, right? And this will be the first time it's going to be held in Micronesia. So what we want to do is get his canoe built here in Hawaii. And for sure Makali is going to go, but then the rest of the canoes, if they could, to go and honor him properly in his home in the Pacific Arts Festival.
But the trip to Palau is too late. Whatever, when the canoe finished, then we looked away there. Okay, can we go to Micronesia, to Saipan? We're a little bit too late because President is sick. The canoe is not finished yet.
Don't worry. For us, no more problem for us. Because right from the very start, whatever changed in the past, for us never changed nothing. For us, we only worry about building your canoe first, but our first priority, our first thing.
Yeah, anytime the canoe finishes.
Yeah, the canoe first. The things change around us, but they never change.
Yep, but for us, we keep on working. We went make finish.
Last time Mao was here, we came to an agreement that whatever we're gonna do is that we're gonna do it together with all the canoes of the Hawaiian Islands, all involved and all doing the same thing with the same goal, and that is to perpetuate and celebrate everything that Mao has done for us over the years with this new canoe that we're going to sail in Micronesia in honor of him.
And like everybody work together, then everything is together.
But it is 2 more years before the funds can be raised to build the canoe. In failing health, Mao returns once again to Hawaii.
The canoe is still not finished. We want to finish it as soon as we can. It was started by my brother Clay, captain, and he passed, so it's our responsibility. We're building a Voyager canoe from Mao as a gift, a very small gift of appreciation, and all his effort and his love for us as a people. What a small gift that it is. This canoe represents not only Makali, it's everybody in the state of Hawaii, everybody that has ever been associated with Mao and know anything about him. This is gift from all of us, from everybody. He was the living ancestor. He knew everything. We learned everything about our own selves through him. So thank God he's still living and still here. So I would invite everybody, encourage you to share in his experience for as long as he's here and how long he's going to be here in Hawaii. He said maybe when the canoe leave, he don't know when he's going to come back. So that's kind of scary. So anyway, I just want to say thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
His wife Katrina has passed. He spends 2 months in the hospital in Waimea. Yet Mao's desire and dream to see his canoe completed is, to everyone's guess, the main thing that is keeping him alive. Of the thousands who contributed to Mao's canoe, 4 young men from Micronesia, Norman, Jason, Enos, and Eddie, are the main builders of Maisu, along with Makali'i's Kanani Kahalehoi from Hanamaui and Patty Ann Solomon from Kohala, all working under project manager Steve Garrett, who in turn works under the direction of Shorty Bertelman.
It's overall lighter, overall thinner, and overall more horsepower. So it's going to be overall much faster.
Every canoe will get a personality. This canoe will be different. Most canoe is going to be fast. It probably is not going to be able to support the weight like Makali, because Makali is pretty much the same way, but Makali, there's a belly on the bottom end. Most canoe is like, it starts right from the bottom, goes straight to the top.
It'll be a much faster one.
This will be the fastest canoe ever built.
As far as I'm aware of. As far as I'm aware of. Because I don't think anybody's tried to put this much sail on a single mast combined on a boat this light.
Most pleasing to Mao is that now, 5 years after his speech at his tribute, the Hawaiian canoe families are working together. His first 2 students, Nainoa Thompson and Shorty Bertelman, meet regularly now with Chad Paishon, Pomai Bertelman, and Kaiulani Murphy to plan the voyage to Micronesia. A voyage on which all have agreed that Hokulea will escort Maisu home.
From the family gave it to us. And in the most ironic way, it's been reversed. It's like we're taking the school back to him through the canoe, right? So at a time in which we're dealing with the vanishing of traditional cultures at a rate that the world's never seen.
Yeah. But we plan that next year we do that.
For Mao, time is literally of the essence. If the canoe is not completed before spring when hurricane weather begins in Micronesia, Mao knows Maisu will not be able to sail this year.
And now it's for me, see, I plan, my time is in March. But the canoe not finish in March. The canoe finish in April, May, then I don't want to go. I leave back the canoe here. My crew, they fly back to home, waiting for next year, then we fly back to here. Okay?
As he expected, the canoe cannot be completed in time to beat the storms. So Mao will go home to Micronesia, too ill to return to Hawaii. The voyagers must wait out the weather until the following January, and then sail the canoe down to Micronesia and to Mao, who by sheer will and determination will outfight the ticking clock and wait for them. In late December, Maisu is ready for a shakedown sail. As promised, Maisu is built for speed, doing almost 8 knots in the light Kauai winds. On the open ocean, Maisu is guaranteed to be one wild hula lady. Mao's son Cesario and the 4 young men from Micronesia return to Hawaii to help sail Maisu home.
How do you feel about the responsibility that's kind of been handed to you now that your dad's older, not feeling well?
Well, it's a very big responsibility. I have to make sure that the canoe is taken care of. I have to plan out on the sail plan, on the student programs, get the students order for the culture and navigation to be survive.
It's going to change your life now.
definitely it's going to change my life very big time.
Mao's first two Hawaiian students, Shorty Bertelman and Nainoa Thompson, both navigators and leaders of their canoe families, agreed to share their thoughts 24 hours before the historic departure.
Personally, how you each feel about the fact that you're about to bring this canoe down to Mao. What this means.
Well, for me, it's a happy day yesterday when you tell Naino that we're ready to go. A lot of hard work. I got to see the support system and what it takes to actually build a canoe as a gift, and the way we have to do it in our day to day. It's been a long road, but then at the same time, it's been such a blessing in disguise, because with all the obstacles in the way, there's so much blessings in return. So Naino asked me yesterday if the canoe was ready to go, and I told him, yeah, to me that was kind of like hit me in the head, because it's really a tribute to everybody that's been helping put this together. So for me, it's the beginning of a journey that's really important, and I think more important to Mao and to Clay is, I think Clay's more happy with this than Mao is right now. And so for all this is going on for me at this time, I'm willing to put every effort to make sure that this is done right, done safely, and done successfully for a legacy that we all wish to share, and make sure that we highlight Mao, and that we try to help Micronesia. And this gift could be a source of potential to be able to help his people, and for us to return to his homeland to help him. So for me, it's a big day for me.
I don't exactly know what to say, and it's funny because it's an absolute honor for Hokulea to have the opportunity to be a part of such an extraordinary and powerful vision that came from a simple conversation between Mao and Clay. Mao saying that things are changing in this world, and he needs a canoe. And everything that's driven the 5 years and the thousands of people that have been around has come from simple words. I'll build you one. To me, that just symbolizes all the voyages, that they come from very simple statements that are driven by extraordinarily powerful vision. And more than that, Clay, I think, I wasn't there. His instincts responded to Mao's deeply reaching out and reaching back to his family in Hawaii and asking for help. And so 5 years later, there you have both the symbol and the reality of that extraordinary gift. It's not just the canoe, but it's the heart and soul of people who made it and prepared it and got it ready. And in many ways, again, Mao is pulling us together, bridging us together, and from the organizational side, to have us have the privilege to work so closely with Nakalaiva'a and to be jointly being a part of the gift, honor and privilege. And to see, a couple of things. You come down here and you see these communities coming together because of Maisu. And again, Mao, we're more stronger than ever. And there's such a comfortability on my side to know that the strength of our community, our respect for each other, and aloha and love for each other is so strong that I think that alone has moved us into the future that I think Mao wanted. He said, bringing people together. And I can't even measure how huge this thing is and how
powerful it is. It's an honor and a privilege to sail in the wake of Clay's vision, to be a support system to Maisu, and just an honor to be with you, Bob, and get back together and sail together with the combination. It's just, I cannot express how special that is.
Almost 6 years earlier, Mao stood at Kealakekua Bay when he came to the Big Island to talk to Clay about building his canoe. And now, Maisu and Hokulea wait at Kealakekua for the sail home.
Like it's shining right on the...
The four leaders on the Ku Holomau voyage from left to right: Nainoa Thompson, Shorty Bertelman, Bruce Blankenfield, and Chad Paishon.
When the sun rises tomorrow, it is my hope that we unite so that my dream will become a reality. My dream of building a new canoe for Micronesia. Aloha and mahalo for each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart.
It's as if by design that Maisu is the culmination of Mao's two wishes, and he has beaten the odds and survived to see them come true. The Hawaiian canoe families working together as one, and the building of a canoe to help save his culture in Micronesia.
The Howleys make the line at Micronesia, Polynesia, Melanesia, you know what I mean? But for us guys, we're all Pacific Islanders. Whether we go to Sarawak, whether we go to Aotearoa, the feeling is all the same. You know, the ocean separates us, but yet it brings us together.
Before many schools, like in my home too. That's why I like pick up again about the one way before. Because before, only one way culture.
Over 30 years ago, Mao guided Hokulea to Tahiti using the stars and the swells and helped inaugurate a renaissance in Polynesian culture. Now the builders and the crew of Alengano Maisu, accompanied by Hokulea, sail Maisu to Micronesia to help inaugurate a renaissance there and to say to Mao, mahalo. Maisu arrived in Sarawak on March 14th. The following day, Mao performed, this time of his own choosing, another po. For Mao, despite what the missionaries had told the islanders, was connected to the spirit in the sea, the spirit in the wind, the spirit in the sky. And it was this spiritual connection and spiritual commitment to the values imbued in him by his grandfather that has driven Mao on. In bestowing the po this day, he has taken the final step in passing on the spiritual commitment to preserving the values of the culture to the next generation. Mao will end his days in peace now, knowing that he has completed the circle of his spiritual path. A small islander from a tiny atoll, he looms as large as the brightest stars that have guided him throughout his life. It will be some time before we see his like again.
He knew from his grandfather, and he knew from the other people that taught him navigation, that they had sailing directions clear across many parts of the Pacific. So to validate what he had been told, one of the things that he did back in the late 60s was sign on as a seaman on a inter-island ship that was run by the Trust Territory in those days, had a Palauan captain. They were working in Yap, and then they were going to go and take a trip down to Palau, and they were going to go through the outer islands of Palau. And Piailug's sole purpose of getting a job as a seaman, he was he was just hired as a deckhand, was to have an easy way to get to those islands and to validate the star courses and things that he had been taught without having to actually sail there. And so he went with his captain, John Ongarong. He told John what he wanted to do, told him why he was sailing and all that. And when John would set a course and be heading to another atoll, he'd have Piailug come up to the bridge and tell him, okay, we're at this island, we're going to go to Katogopoe, all right? What do you think is the course we should take? What star course? Where does it lie? And Piailug would tell him. And Ongarong would go back, of course, that's exactly the course he was going to take. And so they did this on all of these islands, and he was never off once. Ongarong told me, yeah, the guy, he named every one. He told me every course we should take, and we did it. That was it. He came back to the island, and he'd validated places that we haven't sailed to for generations and generations. All those star courses have got to be right. I don't think there was another navigator in the Central Carolines that, number one, would have taken the initiative to do that. Number two, had ever really thought about it. You sit on the beach and wonder, and guys would wonder all the time. This guy was different. He was really special. We had lots of navigators there, and they had better reputations, but this guy had the whole package.
Mao and Clay return Maulua to Honaunau, where the canoe was built, and there they visit Mao's good friend Tava, a veteran of many voyages on the Hokulea.
From before we meet first to this time, you never stop. Well, some guys, they stop sailing. They say they retire. They retire for the government work. Sailing is nobody retire. No can retire. But our culture is when he die, he say, okay, I'm retired. Because I'm tired already. See? But the retire, nobody say retire.
Oh, I met Mao in 1980, 1980. Yeah. Whenever we meet the Mao, they say, oh, this is the Mao from Sarawak. I say, oh, and I'm happy because he said, it's the same thing.
Same him.
My island, it's the same thing. The same language, almost the same language. All the Taro.
Almost same language. Really same culture.
Yeah. Him is like my dad and a canoe, because that's how we talking. The Voyager canoe is a part of the culture many, many years. The navigator is, we say, he's the daddy of the canoe. He's the father of the canoe.
Yep.
The navigator. So that's how we work for him. What he say, you better do.
Okay, now we try. He try come to,
for Saturday, Sunday, but no can, it's okay.
Say aloha, Mama, if you not see you.
Yeah, okay.
And then he's really tired one night, and he said, "Okay, I'll go rest a little bit." And you watch the moon, and you put the moon over here, and make sure the moon's there, right there on that side of the canoe. As soon as he went to sleep, somebody else came in, and all of a sudden there's no more leadership because he's sleeping. Then people start saying, "Oh, what about this, doing that, and doing this and everything." So I just watched the moon go all the way, keep on going all the way to the other side of the canoe. So I didn't want to wake him up because he just finally went to sleep after 5 or 6 days, maybe longer. And I had to wake him up. When I woke him up, he was all mad. He said, "What's the matter with you guys? You know, now we go back to Hawaii." The canoe, you know where we're going? We're facing back. We're going back to Hawaii.
I think when we turn back to Hawaii, I think 2 or 3 hours. Because when we turn back early in the morning, we don't find the escort boat. Escort boat is lost. Yeah, because they go straight because they have compass, but us, no compass.
So did you feel safe about going to sleep again after that?
No, after that, ooh, really scared.
But you know, he's right. There was nobody really on board to help him. He was by himself. You know, now when we go, everybody's at least oriented with the sky. I mean, we train. We even if you're not responsible, you know, pretty much there's a lot of help on board. First time he was all by himself.
Tomorrow night in Hana, Kalani said at first she wasn't going to say anything to anybody, just the crew, you know, in Hana that was coming tomorrow. The kid, one kid is fine on everybody like, "Hey, he coming, we'll come. We don't care if we invited or not, we will come because they like me, keep me." Because they know through the out teachings that this is the guy that started everything for us.
Mao now engages in what he loves to do. Share his knowledge of the stars with anyone interested to learn.
Star compass. What is the name now? Whirloo, yeah, Papa?
Yeah.
Whirloo? Whirloo.
Whirler.
Whirler. Yeah, whirler.
And then the whirler is come down this way.
Come down
And
that way.
Cameroon is come up,
Come up.
come down.
Go down up.
You know the North Stars,
Yeah.
Royal Fish Monk? In my home is all the way down.
Oh, yeah, the horizon.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the way down to the bottom.
Yeah.
It's down. It's on the horizon.
Yeah.
It's on the horizon. His
Yes.
home. And that's Woolly Woolly Fish Market.
Yes.
Yeah. Woolly Woolly. Yeah. That's the North Star.
Yeah.
And to us, it's Hokupa'a. Yeah.
Because
But that's
here
Woolly
is
Woolly Fish
the,
Market.
more far to north. Yeah? That's why the North Stars is way up. I think this kind of stuff is from before, long time ago. We don't know from who. And I think, okay, do you think the navigation is from where? From this island or? And she, no. From Pulnam. Start the navigation in Pulnam. Oh, that's the island. They have they learn the navigation from what? From the bird. What? From the bird. How come the bird he never talk? Why they learn from the bird, but I don't know who is the bird who can't talk. Then he said, yeah, they say bird, but maybe not bird, maybe spirit. Then he make him is the bird, but maybe spirit. Maybe. The bird is from Alaska, come to here first, Metro, Usaya, Parapechu, and Bona. But before, everybody navigated before. They say, yeah, that's the Bona is first. And everything magic or what. Then they learn from Bona, from the navigator in Bona.
There is one island in Chuk, it's called Pollap. Pollap, that's where this book usually comes from. Because in our history of navigation, local navigation, they said that's where navigation was born, in Pollap. So this thing they said Po, so it's the beginning of the name of that island, Pollap.
But they say the history formula. It is beautiful island. The story for the Hawaiian men before, they do that. They sailing from here all the way to South Pacific. Marquesas, Tahiti, Cook Island, Samoa, Tonga, but only the time when the howling come and machinery come, they come stop everything. That's why the local people, they lost something from them. That's why the canoe too. They build the canoe, only the paddle canoe for, they see the picture. But the sailing canoe, nobody make. And then the first one, Hokulea, but not really.
The Hokulea was not like a Hawaiian canoe?
Look like, but they use plywood and fiber. But before, nobody used the fiber. Nobody used plywood because no more. They built the canoe from the tree, koa tree. That's why now I like we try because I know here is the same like Micronesia. Now, first time lost here, Hawaii, Polynesia.
Yeah.
And then now it's Micronesia too. I know first time only come on this island. And then they say nobody speak Hawaiian. Everybody speak English. See? That's why they lost. English. But South Pacific, they speak them language too. Like Micronesia. But now you see the stuff before? You see now? Where?
Only in old pictures.
See? You say pictures. Picture is for nothing. Only looking. But nobody make. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, Alan, you need to tell us how much you enjoyed the experience of filming Papa and how that makes you feel.
Well, at first I was just completely like in awe. And I couldn't believe like Papa and I was driving around in my car with him. I was like, how did this happen?
What kind of car do you have?
The convertible, which he likes. But I'm completely honored to do this, and it's my pleasure to do it. And I've had a lot of fun too. And Papa Mao and I have laughed a lot. He eats a lot of sugar, a lot of ice cream. I filmed him with his iced tea. He put 8 sugars in 1 thing of iced tea.
It's a lot of sugar.
But I'm learning a lot too.
So, could you tell us if he likes to eat hamburgers?
No, he does not. I saw him try to order a steak once, but he didn't. He likes fish. I've taken him to many restaurants and he has fish and rice.
Fish and rice?
And soup.
And soup.
He likes soup. He likes a lot of soup. And he's usually in a good mood unless his gout is acting up. Then he's kind of tired. I think he's had a lot of fun too. And I feel the big responsibility of what I'm doing. I'm documenting him. And I know that your dad thinks that Mom's like his father. And I'm very flattered and honored that your dad asked me to do this, that he trusted me to do it. And I take that responsibility really seriously. And it's a long project. I'm also honored to be invited to go to Satawal with Chad and Luther. And I know that's going to be a real spiritual experience for everybody, and that's going to be an incredible. I think a lot of the documentary is going to be shot down here. For the Kumau. Papa Umau Mau, Papa Umau Mau.
Mahalo ina akua. Mahalo